Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Would vaccine rollout change Trinidad and Tobago's border policy? This is a story that will give you the answer, which takes the lead in our 1043rd edition of Caribbean Perspective for Thursday, 4th February 2021. Details after this break.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world, and you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket, and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
Welcome back. Will the rollout of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine have any impact on the border closure policy meant to curb the spread of COVID-19 in Trinidad and Tobago? It was a question TV6's political editor Joel Brown posed to the National Security Minister on Tuesday, as the minister said the latest figures for applications for border closure exemptions show an interesting development.
National Security Minister Stuart Young held a news conference on Tuesday on the online application system for exemptions to the closure of this nation's borders, just one day after the details on the rollout of the AstraZeneca vaccine were announced by the health minister.
Once the distribution of the AstraZeneca vaccine begins and is ongoing, is there a threshold number that would cause the government to revisit the issue of the border closure?
I don't think it's going to be based necessarily on the vaccination, because of course the vaccination, it really depends on vaccination outside, but the government is continuously discussing, looking at it, making decisions, etc., and we will continue to do so. There's no way I'm going to step out and say what the government is going to do. I am only one of three of that sub-cabinet committee, always meeting with the Prime Minister, always in constant discussion with the Prime Minister, the Minister of Health.
In a statement on Tuesday evening, Opposition Leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar claimed the National Security Minister is now, in her words, weaponizing the variants of COVID-19 to create a shabby defense of his baseless and evil policy of blocking out citizens from this nation. Minister Young dismissed any claims of discrimination in the border closure policy.
The government never wanted to keep our nationals out of Trinidad and Tobago. That is a foolish statement to make. Question yourself, why would we want to keep our own nationals out of Trinidad and Tobago? What do we stand to benefit as a government by keeping our nationals out of Trinidad and Tobago? From day one, we said we'll get all our nationals back, we'll manage the process.
He then spoke of the new email system for applications for border closure exemptions. He said as of January 21st, there were 19,941 applications, of which 11,682 were granted, leaving 8,259 applications outstanding.
By the end of the second day, there were 2,171 applications. I said, okay, let's wait a week. I'll come and tell the country what's happened after a week. By the 8th day, so I added another day. So by the 8th day, which was yesterday, the 1st of February, we've received 3,260 applications.
The National Security Minister then threw out a question regarding the outstanding applications.
As at close of business yesterday, we have 3,260 applications. Now, by the end of the second day, which I now use as a test as to how many people really genuinely, legitimately qualified, etc., and wanted to come home in the shortest period of time, 2,171. I minus that figure from the 8,259, and I'm asking, where have the 6,088 applications gone?
Joel Brown, TV6 News.
PNM Tobago Council political leader Tracy Davidson Celestine says she intends to write the Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley towards a quick resolution to the present election deadlock in Tobago. Mrs. Davidson Celestine stated the issue must be resolved sooner rather than later. More from Elizabeth Williams of TV6 News.
I am calling on both the Chief Secretary and the Prime Minister to start escalating and advancing those decisions so that that decision can be made within the shortest possible time frame.
Mrs. Davidson Celestin insists that the PNM is not trying to steal any election.
So it is not a case of PNM trying to steal the elections in any way, or the PNM is doing some corrupt kind of arrangement to keep them in office. The law says from the Tobago House of Assembly Act that the Executive Council continues to function.
Davidson Celestin also speaks about the now controversial zipline project and maintains that she had no direct involvement.
I had no direct involvement in that particular exercise. There is no issue of corruption in that particular arrangement from my end and from my perspective.
She has again called on Progressive Democratic Patriots Deputy Political Leader Fali Augustine to take to the police any information he has linking her to anything untoward.
But I am in no way directly involved in any mismanagement of any funding. And so I am calling on the deputy political leader of the PDP to clear my name.
David Celestin spoke during a PNM media conference in Scarborough. Elizabeth Williams, TV6 News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
The president of the Civil Service Association in St. Lucia is stressing the importance of prioritizing lives over livelihoods. Solange Alfred of HTS News Force has more.
Your life always comes before your livelihood, because once you protect your life, you can always make your livelihood after.
President of the Civil Service Association, Cyprian Montrop, in the wake of rising COVID-19 numbers, says the membership has not escaped the reach of the virus. He advises CSA members proceed with caution. The CSA represents employees of 8 branches of government, including but not limited to the Ministry of Infrastructure, the Customs and Excise Department, the Department of Justice, NEMO, and the Attorney General's chambers.
There is a mix in terms of some departments and ministries where you find that there is a great cooperation of both the staff and the employers in terms of PPEs. But we cannot say we are 100% satisfied, because some of our workplaces are infected, and it means that some of the measures that are in place there are not adequate enough to protect the workers. So we are not 100% satisfied, but we cannot say that there are some employers who are in fact taking good precautions in terms of their staff.
The trade union also represents members of the Water and Sewage Company, WASCO, and St. Lucia Electricity Services Limited, LUCILEC. The CSA argues that priority should be given to the health and safety of workers in St. Lucia as the third wave of the pandemic washes over the island.
The CSA's position with regards to that is that people must come first, because it's only people and living organisms that make up society, not businesses, because businesses without people do not survive.
Apart from the growing threat of the pandemic, the union has been strengthening the organization by attending to a host of housekeeping matters. The union also welcomed a newly elected executive council. Montrop says a few major changes within the executive were noted. However, he says the CSA's continued focus on ensuring its mandate of proper representation for its membership remains.
But we have an incoming treasurer, we have an incoming secretary, we have an incoming assistant secretary, treasurer, and a second vice president incoming. So there is a complete change more so in the executive. On behalf of the executive, which they have expressed their interest is members first, and they will continue to fight, and they'll continue to agitate, they'll continue to inspire, they'll continue to help members grow and to put their intention, or our intention basically, is to put our members first in terms of what we do, because that's why we exist. And we'll continue the struggle to make sure that our membership enjoy a good livelihood, because that's what unions ought to do.
The CSA engages in negotiations with a number of employers, the largest being the government of St. Lucia. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
In a communique emanating from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Guyana's western neighbor has fully rejected statements made by President Irfan Ali on the border issue. More from HGP's Wendell Badri.
In its statement posted to the website of the Ministry of External Affairs of Venezuela, the government claims that the Ali administration is partaking in an inexplicable setup in conjunction with U.S. multinational ExxonMobil. The statement also claims that Ghana's president is uttering infamies against Venezuela and is further placing itself as a victim of the Spanish-speaking country on the basis of unsustainable speculations and inconceivable arguments under the false premise of aggression. The official statement from the country also proffered that the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela ratifies that it will defend its territory and its legitimate rights over Essequibo, Guyana, in strict adherence to international law and the Geneva Agreement of 1966. In this sense, Venezuela reaffirms its offer to the Cooperative Republic of Ghana to engage in a sincere and transparent dialogue based on good faith, as well as to establish a respectful and sincere bilateral integral relationship, free of lies, biased pretenses, and dangerous manipulations. On Saturday, during an address to the nation, His Excellency Mohammed Irfan Ali reiterated a series of events by the Spanish-speaking country, which took place over the past few weeks, beginning with a declaration on January 7, 2021, by Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro titled Territory for the Development of the Atlantic Facade, which laid unilateral claims to Ghana's territorial integrity, and leading up to strong condemnation by the international community of the acts meted out to Ghana by its western neighbor.
My fellow Guyanese, I've given you all this detail because I want to stress that not only do we, Guyanese, regard our cause as right and just, but so too does the international community. We have friends.
Ali noted that he was in receipt of a letter from the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, in which he reaffirmed his decision to choose the International Court of Justice, ICJ, as the means to be used for the solution of the controversy. President Ali reiterated that Ghana is fully committed to the ICJ process and therefore will continue to pursue that course. The president also said that Ghana remains open for talks with Venezuela on refugees from that country coming into Ghana, as well as the pandemic, but also had this to say.
However, such discussions, while welcome, especially if the UN Secretary General wishes to play a good office's role, will have to be preceded by a clear demonstration by Venezuela that it will desist from any further acts of aggression against Guyana, starting with the release of the Guyanese fishermen and their vessels.
Meanwhile, there have been reports that a third fishing vessel has been detained by the Venezuelan authorities, to which Minister Hugh Todd on Saturday on the sidelines of an event at the Artichon Conference Center posited that he is awaiting word from Ghana's embassy in Caracas on the status of that vessel, as there have been unconfirmed reports that the vessel was detained in Venezuelan waters. This newscast engaged the minister on avoidance of recurrences. The following is an excerpt of that brief engagement.
Based on all that has happened, what systems have been put in place to avoid a recurrence?
Of the Venezuelans detaining and arresting
fishermen being arrested, of Venezuela coming into our territory, and so on.
Well, exactly what we're doing right now, reaching out to the international community.
But is that enough to avoid a recurrence?
It helps. It helps. It's name and shame.
No physical presence?
We are going the route of a diplomatic solution, not a military solution.
Understood, but of course we want to ensure that our officials...
We're well protected within the international community, and by extension that extends to the fishermen.
When you say you're well protected, define what you mean by that.
We live in a global environment with international laws and norms.
I understand.
So
I'm just
if
looking for
one
some
country
specifics.
decides to violate that, then they'll be condemned. And it affects their actions.
Is condemnation enough, or...?
It works. It's working right now.
Wendell Badri, HGP Nightly News.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world, and you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket, and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.